Though those that are betrayed do feel the treason sharply, yet the traitor stands in a worse case of woe. This is the Booktube Betrayal Tag, which was created by Joanna at Joanna Reads and Alan at the Library of Alexandria. I will link their original tag in the description, and this is all about the betrayals of BookTube. Any traitors that I mention in this video will be linked in the description and will be tagged to do this tag on their own channel. And I apologize for my voice and how croaky it is going to sound. I am on week 3 of recovering from COVID, and I mean, last time I had COVID, it took me a full month, so I'm doing better than I was. It's definitely a lingering cough and breathing problems, but we will get there. It's a lot better than it was. Prompt number 1 is dusted. What book did you relish reading that other people blasted through and dusted you in a buddy raid? And this is currently happening with Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. We literally have a reading schedule, and I don't think anyone is sticking to the reading schedule, although I'm caught up to the reading schedule now. And Mare from Lady Mare Reads started the book after me and finished it already, and I still have the last act of the book to complete. Betrayal. This buddy read is hosted by Laura and Ross over at Hardy's Books, and they have been putting out videos every week as they are reading through the book and then talking about the chapters that were assigned for the buddy read that week. And I've really been enjoying my time reading the book and watching their reflections on the book. Prompt number 2 is book stabbing. What is a book that's been languishing on your TBR for so long because you keep prioritizing other buddy reads before it? I plan on reading this one before the end of the year, but I have 3 buddy reads planned for November. So hopefully I will start and finish The Shadow of the Gods before too long. But yes, I do keep prioritizing other buddy reads before it. I am reading Do You Dream of Terra 2? I am reading Nation, which I have out. This will be my first Pratchett book. So I'm reading Do You Dream of Terra 2 with the Fairy Librarian. I will have her channel linked. I'm reading Nation by Terry Pratchett in Alan from the Library of Alexandria's Discord. This is the Discord buddy read for November. And then I'm reading Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo in Chloe Frizzle's Discord. It is the Discord read for November. So if I finish all of those, I will get to The Shadow of the Gods. Prompt number 3 is review overlord. Name a time that you did not want to review or talk about a book because A, someone reviewed it so well first, or B, there were already so many reviews / discussions of the book. So I have 2 answers for this one. I don't normally watch or read reviews after I finish a book and before I complete my review. I like to make my review without the influence of other reviewers. But I did read Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid and I DNF'd it. And then I wasn't really sure if I was going to talk about it on my channel because I'm not sure if I want to talk about books that I DNF very often on my channel unless I have like something like I really want to say about the book. Otherwise, I might just like not really discuss DNFs. But Willow at Willow Talks Books did such a good review of Lady Macbeth and talking about feminist retellings of older stories and talking about, we have had so many retellings of Greek mythology from a female character's point of view. And then this was also supposed to be like a feminist retelling of Macbeth and where those books succeed and where they fail and why Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid failed so hard in that element. And it's because Ava Reid did not give Macbeth any agency. Macbeth has agency, or Lady Macbeth has agency in the play Macbeth, but does not have agency in the feminist retelling of Macbeth. And Willow at Willow Talks Books did such a good job with her review. I shared it on my community tab and was basically like, these are my thoughts too. If you want to see them, go watch her review because she did such a good job at it. As far as books that there are already so many reviews and discussions around the book, for me, that would be, I'm reading through A Song of Ice and Fire, and I've kind of decided that instead of doing like reviews, because I don't really think I have anything to add as far as reviews go, I'm just making videos of my reactions as I'm reading through the books. So I don't really consider them reviews. They're just more of like my take on the stories. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, you know, you can come along for the ride. If not, there's plenty of other discussions out there on the Song of Ice and Fire books. Prompt number 4 is sold out. Name a booktuber who hyped a book so much that it's no longer available in certain formats. The only one I know of for this prompt is when Daniel Green talked about Sun Eater and then it was no longer available in print because it sold out. I was not trying to purchase Sun Eater, so I was unaware that it was no longer available. I'm not a big book purchaser. I don't buy a lot of books. I use my library a lot, so this isn't really an issue for me, so I don't really see it as a betrayal. Prompt 5 is damaged goods. Name a book you lent out and never got back or got back damaged. And this is the ultimate betrayal question, because no one wants to lend my book. No one wants to loan my books. No one wants to borrow my books, because I don't know anyone who reads the type of books that I read, which is why I'm on BookTube, so I can talk about books with people on the internet, because I don't have people in real life to talk about books with. I would prefer people borrow my books and damage them, and I get to discuss the content of the story inside, because I am not precious about my books, but I want to discuss books. And the ultimate betrayal is the fact that no one has borrowed a book and not returned it or returned it damaged. I feel betrayed. Prompt number 6 is stealing the spotlight. Name someone who has gotten all the praise or attention for hyping a book that you hyped first. And this one is going to go to Murphy Napier and her read-through of the Temeraire series. And I was honestly super duper stoked whenever she started reading the Temeraire series and enjoyed it, because I was like, oh my gosh, people are finally going to read it and talk about it. And I joined her Patreon Discord so I could see all the people chatting as they were reading through the Temeraire series. It just makes me so happy. So I'm not even mad when people steal the spotlight. I want people to read the same books that I'm reading and then have discussions about them. Question 7 is Outlier. Name a book that the masses overhyped or underhyped according to your taste. And I might lose some friends over this tag. I have 2 books that I read this year that I feel this way about. The first one is Tigana by Guy Gavriel Kay, which I know some people literally have Guy Gavriel Kay on like their best fantasy authors of all time list, and people seem to really like his books. I was not impressed with Tigana. The writing is gorgeous. So as if you want like really beautiful writing, it was one of the best prologues I've ever read. But I found the exploration of diaspora in the book extremely shallow, and the treatment of female characters and the treatment of like magical beings in the book was not good. Yeah, I did not appreciate it. And the other one that I read this year, I'm pretty sure I read a different book than everyone else. It is Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. And I have only seen like praise for this book. I've seen so much praise for this book. It is a very short book. It's 120 pages. It focuses, the story is about a woman's tragedy from the perspective of a man, and we just center the man and focus on how this tragedy affects the man the entire way through the book. Like, I literally got to the end of the book, and up until like the final pages, the man is still thinking about, oh my gosh, how is this going to affect my reputation? That's where we end the book. And I literally finished the book and was like, what the f*** did I just read? And why have I seen so much praise for this book? I'm sure there has to be a different book called Small Things Like These by the author Claire Keegan. And everyone else read this other version. And I got the bad version because, like, that's the only explanation there is. Question 8 is slump starter. Name a book that diminished your desire to read. And I feel like most people get in reading slumps whenever they read a really, really good book. But I don't think I've read a really good book that diminished my desire to read. Usually when I read really good books, I want to read more. Like that. And so, this is also going to be an unpopular opinion, but The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan, I actually DNF'd this book and I had a fair amount to say about this book, so I do have a video talking about all of my problems with The Justice of Kings, which I will have linked, and basically it comes down to the treatment of female characters, and I was reading this book, and it's a recently published book, so I would say it's a modern fantasy book. And this book is the book that made me understand people who say that they don't want to read fantasy written by a male author. I have read fantastic fantasy books by male authors, so I will continue reading fantasy books by male authors. But this book made me understand why people would do that, because the writing was a choice. I would like to shout out some fantastic speculative fiction books I have read by male authors, starting with The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This is one of the most beautifully written, unique fantasy stories I have ever read. Also, Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Djeli Clark was such a fun experience. I love the writing. It really put me in the story. I felt like I really knew what was going on as far as atmosphere and characters. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, if you are in the mood for some cozy coffee shop fantasy. And what is possibly my book of the year, The Lost Art Dreaming by Sui Davis Okamboa. I absolutely loved reading this sci-fi novella, and these are reasons why I still read fantasy and science fiction by male authors, because there are some fantastic authors out there writing in this space. Prompt 9 is I Told You So, a book you told people was bad, but they read it anyways and did not like it. So this has never happened for me on BookTube. I almost never discourage people from reading books. I understand that people have different tastes than me, and just because I didn't like a book doesn't mean someone else won't like a book. So yeah, try it. You might enjoy it. I did have 2 books, and it was not because I didn't like them, but my mother-in-law was planning on reading 2 books and talking about them, and I was like, these books are so far outside of what you read. Why are you trying to read them? I don't think you'll like them. And then she read them and didn't like them. So I tried. So that is the conclusion of the BookTube Betrayal Tag. If you were mentioned in this tag, you are now tagged. You get to do your own version and name me as the traitor if I have somehow betrayed you. And I hope this was fun for you. Leave a comment letting me know which booktuber has betrayed you personally, and I hope to see you in another video. Happy reading!